I'm sure there are plenty of people who have dreamed of becoming the next drift king of their local parking garage, and there are probably at least a handful of people that love the blocky magic of early 3D introduced by the Sega Saturn game console. But here in the future, decades beyond these fantasies, comes a game that encompasses both entirely. It's time for Parking Garage Rally Circuit. Dive into the role of a rally racer taking to the streets and parking structures adjacent to the streets to turn and burn your way to a multi-lap time trial victory while also trying to avoid obliterating yourself on the dozens of cars people innocently parked on the racetrack. After pre-selecting exactly how hard you want to squint at these graphics to make out what's going on, you'll be able to pick the one that just about makes it possible to discern which wiggling pixels are your upcoming turns. Now you can select a single available car, customize the dozens of pixels that make up your livery, and make your way onto the exciting indoor-outdoor tracks that will test the limits of your liability insurance. After admiring this awesome controller card demonstrating the driving tutorial, you'll begin your adventure in navigating the tight turns, low ceilings, and car-filled parking spaces of your first parking garage. What may seem like a straightforward racing experience will actually put your skills and reflexes to the test by taking all of the mechanics you've seen in Mario Kart and making you use them in the tightest spaces imaginable. You'll have the power of a starting line boost as well as boosts handed out like sweet delicious candy every time you drift just long enough to make your drift smoke change colors. Of course, this isn't your ordinary boost system. Your speed-enhancing drifts have some kind of strange momentum system built in, so the faster you go, the faster you'll go. And when you're squeezing through the car-and-a-half wide concrete barriers and ramping off level changes, you can easily turn that momentum into horrific crashes and leaps off multi-story buildings. But if you're able to master the power of drifting and boosting dozens of times for every track, you can beat one of the 3 ghost cars representing gold, silver, and bronze times for each race and unlock the next tracks. Tracks that will always bring you back to the familiar treacherous designs of parking garages, but will also add a variety of treacherous routes around, over, and through those structures. There will even be events that trigger throughout your journey, like gigantic falling boulders and blackouts, making those pixelated turns even more exciting to navigate. And when you've completed the 8-track circuit, you unlock the next of 3 total cars that lets you take on the series again, but this time hauling significantly more ass and challenging the laws of physics with every turn. Parking Garage Rally Circuit, a nostalgic taste of 30-year-old racing games with the modern magic of not costing a fortune to play. There were plenty of places where Parking Garage Rally Circuit tried something different and could have fallen short, but didn't. It created a unique visual design that might have turned some players away, but is very authentic and appealing in its delivery. It also established the tracks in a setting that seemed silly on the surface, but ultimately made for some incredible designs that are as challenging as they are fun. And it did all of this with a drift boost mechanic that might have been a little too familiar, but was more engaging than any I've used before and was satisfying to pull off. It's not without its quirks though, like the physics sometimes launching your car in ways that don't really make sense. And with the ghost cars simply representing timers, if you mess up, you're often better off restarting since catching up is extremely difficult. It was also a little disappointing that you essentially only have one car since each of the 3 you unlock is split across difficulty levels. It could have been interesting to have slightly different cars with distinct tuning to try to pick the best for each track, but it's easy to forget that once you've wrapped yourself in the nuances of the game. It's also a bit short overall, but like with many racing games, there's a lot of value in perfecting your driving skills and tracks. You also have multiplayer lobby options as well as endurance races where you can zip around the track with an arcade-style countdown, gaining seconds with each checkpoint. Both this and the standard races have leaderboards where you can admire your victories or lament your failures relative to everyone else who's pinballed around those parking lots. Even with the limitations inherent to indie games, Parking Garage Rally Circuit is a thoroughly enjoyable trip into a world of nostalgia I didn't really ever experience because no one I knew could afford a Sega Saturn. So that's why it's getting the abbreviated score of good. If you'd like to see more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary about video games, like this video and check out some more abbreviated reviews.